Welcome to episode 103 of Drew's Sports Crew here on this Monday night. Myself, Drew Skyberg, right, bringing you the news as always here in the sports world, and more specifically here on this episode. Right, we keep it local. We keep it in the state of Wisconsin. We even throw high school in there, EWC, and look, we got a lot to talk about. It feels like it's every week, but we love it. Right, we have week 20 of Milwaukee Bucks basketball here, right? Post also right, Bucks are on a 14-game win streak. Marquette checks in at the highest ranking they have had since the 1970s at 6. I had them at 8 originally, and then stuff happened Saturday and Sunday. They move up to 6. And we have the playoffs. We have to talk about an upset that happened in the EWC on the girls' side. We have to talk about boys' games are tomorrow night. Look, we got a lot. I'll throw an announcement at you right away here. Fantasy baseball. If you're interested, just contact me at Drew Sports Crew for more info. Love to get that league filled up. We're over halfway filled, right? But want to try to get 12 people in that league, and like an entry fee on that is $10. So if interested, at Drew Sports Crew. Let's roll. We're gonna go right to high school here, and we will start here with the boys. We'll do a final stats standings update. We had last conference games played. We had one Saturday thrown in there. It was Roncalli Kiel. Kiel won that one 55-41. So we do have the final for conference. It ends up being, just as we predicted it, honestly. Coming in, we had Brilliant 1, Kiel 2, Valders 3. We had Roncalli 4. What we saw was just that. We saw Brilliant 14-0 in conference, 23-1 overall. Kiel 11-3 in conference, 20-4 overall. Valders 10-4 in conference, 17-7 overall. Roncalli 6-8 in conference, 8-16 overall. Two Rivers 6-8 in conference, 10-14 overall. Chilton 5-9 in conference, 9-14 overall. New Holstein 2-12 in conference, 3-21 overall. Then Sheboygan Falls 2-12 in conference, 2-20 overall. So that ended up being your final stats. Again, Brilliant wins the conference by 3 games, and again, then we mentioned so Two Rivers then ties Roncalli technically. Roncalli is the nod on here. I don't know if it's alphabetical or why that is, but Chilton then 5-9. New Holstein and Sheboygan Falls, right, both 2-12. Your final stats for the regular season goes like this. Jeremy Lorenz is your conference scoring leader, 21.3 a game. Pierce Ardens finished in second, 18.8. Cole Hovey, 18.1. He finishes in third. Max Miller in fourth, 16.2. And then out of nowhere, Jackson Olsen of Valders, 14.2. He wasn't in the leaderboard or wasn't on the leaderboard most of the way through this year is why I say out of nowhere. And again, Jackson Olsen, 1,000-point score from Valders. So it's good to see him on the list there at number 5. We mentioned there's a lot of guys, throughout the year kind of just moving in and out, right? I mean, we had someone from Two Rivers on it, right? We had I feel like there's other people on it. I feel like some like Brilliant had another, or it's just the list ended up being having it like that. It was Brady Richards, right? Which I'll actually correct that there. Or actually Brady Richards 14.1, Jackson Olsen 14.2. So just to keep in mind how close it was. And then for Brilliant, it ended up being right. It was, or Geiger had 11, so he ended up missing out by 3 points there. So again, Jackson Olsen beats out Brady Richards for that 5th spot by 0.1 points. So there's your 5th spot on scoring rebounds per game. Grant Munz, shocker, leads your way, 12.5 a game for him. Jeremy Lorenz in second, 11.7. Cole Hovey in third, 8.1. Your assists per game, Parker Brown, 6.4 assists. So we mentioned a big assist here for Brown. Then Pierce Ardens, 5 assists a game exactly. And then Will Feuerbringer of Chilton, 4.7. We talked about how he snuck on the list midway through the year, and he stayed on it. Will Feuerbringer having had a big year, right, with Chilton. Same with Max Miller. Both those guys Um, hopefully get some sort of conference. Miller for sure will. Hopefully Fuelbringer makes that list. Certainly well deserving. So those are your final stats standings updates. And then for the guys we got to talk about what we got right Tuesday. So we mentioned right we have some games. Goes like this. So this is your regional right quarterfinals. These are again tomorrow. You win, you play Friday. You win that game, you play Saturday for regionals. Right, how it works. Chilton, Denmark. That game is, and all these games are at 7:00 tomorrow. Chilton's got to go to Denmark. Sheboygan Falls going to Kettle Moraine Lutheran. Two Rivers going to Kewaskum. New Holstein goes to Valders. And then Roncalli goes to Ozaki. So those are the games you got. And then we're looking at girls will go to, we talked about the bracket last week. So if you want to hear more about the bracket specifically, head to last week, episode 102. I got you covered. All right, we'll talk about girls here. Stats, standings don't really matter right now. We talked about that last week. We know who our scoring title. We know the awards. No conference team yet. I'll provide those when we get those out. We'll talk about those. Don't worry, I got you covered. We do have to talk about the brackets. We're gonna start in D4, however. We'll start. So we had Valders, the 9 and the 8. That game was last Tuesday. Valders gets the job done in overtime. They beat St. Mary Springs. But Valders then has to go to Laconia on Friday. And in this one, Laconia got the job done. They win 84-35. This Laconia team is, look, I mean, Laconia historically has been very good, but, this Laconia team's different. I mean, this is a very, very balanced squad, and, they're a very good team, right? I mean, they shot 48% from three. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Very good, Laconia squad, and tough matchup in that sectional again. This team's 23-3. I should also add, they're regional champs. Yeah, it's a very good Laconia team. No shame in losing that one. Then also, I guess New Holstein, they lost by 3. They lose 67-64 to Lutheran. Nantucket Lutheran wins that. So that was the other thing. And then we had, right, I mean, the Lutheran loses to Randolph. Randolph, the 2 seed, wins by 30. Now we'll go to D3. And in D3, we talked about it. I hinted on that, right? That surprise upset. So, right, we had Brilliant, Sheboygan Falls. Sheboygan Falls beat Two Rivers by 24. So then Sheboygan Falls, the 6 seed, goes to Brilliant, the 3. And in this one, Sheboygan Falls hung around. They played a good game against Brilliant, and they actually won the game. I mean, they went ahead and they put together a very good 40 minutes, or 36 minutes. My apologies. Just watching college basketball. Put together a really, really nice 36 minutes against this Brilliant squad. And again, they get the job done. They win that one by 5. A lot of brackets up right now. Sorry. 47-42 was that one again. So credit Sheboygan Falls, right? A young team. We talked about the young core that they have, and they showed up in a game when it mattered the most. So again, a tough way to go out for the Lions with that senior class. Well, I got stats here. Right, Ashton Schwele, we talked about, her all season, 16 points, 15 rebounds, quite a game. And then we had Natalie Nikolai with 13 as well. And then for Brilliant, who led the way, Megan Schumann with 19. And then, we had Elena Schwann with 9. We had Camden Hale with 8. But they put up, right, it was 42 points. Brilliant shot 7 of 39 from 3. You look at Brilliant. They take a lot of threes. They took 39 threes in this one. 7 for 39 is not going to do it, right? I mean, Falls only took 10. They were 1 for 10, but really, I mean, that was the difference, right? I mean, 3-point shooting in this one. Brilliant has 21 more shots. I think that's remarkable. You look at, they win the turnover battle. They have 21 more shots. They had 5 more rebounds. They lose by 5. crazy how basketball works sometimes, isn't it? So yeah, again, that was your final. We saw then Falls move on. We talked about they lose to Kewaskum by 7. So that leaves actually all looks like all girls teams have been eliminated then. Is what I'm seeing. Um, we also can look at that's really the girls' seasons. What happened? But other games, I guess if we want to go through them here, it's gonna let me pull them up. The brackets are not cooperating, but I can tell you Kiel's score here if it's gonna work. Okay. Having issues pulling up Kiel's score for some reason. Not sure what's going on with the brackets, but let's see if it's gonna work here. Okay, I got Kiel's scores up finally. Okay, Kiel, all right, Kettle Moraine Lutheran got the job done 77-40. And then we mentioned that Laconia Valders. I'm not sure what's going on with these brackets. I know they had issues too unveiling on the bracket show on NFHS. So those guys, but all right, Falls Brilliant. That was 47-42 we talked about. We went through all the games. So all games here for girls basketball. You know, every team's done here. So and we're just waiting for conference teams. We'll talk about it when we get that out. But right, I mean, high school sports or high school winter sports are already. I mean, it's flying by. Right, wrestling finished up last week, and right, I mean, we're almost to spring. Right, we're going to March. 2 days from now, of course, we still have state basketball, guys and girls. Hopefully, yeah, we can see an EWC team there be represented for the guys. But yeah, let's roll. I mean, gotta just lastly wrap up and thank WISports.net, right, for all the information, all the scoring needs that you have for EWC or the WIA. Check out WISports.net. Their link is down below. Let's talk about the Milwaukee Bucks, right? I mean, we got to go to the Milwaukee Bucks. 43-17. I mean, talk about how they've done the first 60 games so far. 43-17 is remarkable. And again, got to credit what what they've done 14 in a row is how that's gone. And again, they win. That was a big win on Sunday, February 26th, 104-101. Can't to backtrack, right? I mean, they kicked off their games or post All-Star break, right? Not really the second half of the year, based on how the NBA does it. Kick it off a 128-99 win. Again, that game was at home against Miami on ESPN. Holiday had a big game in that one. Giannis leaves that one. Doesn't play Sunday. We're hoping he plays tomorrow in Brooklyn. That's actually full disclosure. I have them losing that game on my Bucks prediction challenge. Reason being is the uncertainty of Giannis. You know, it's a even though there's no Durant, no Kyrie, it's still going to be a tough game. And if Giannis isn't there, that kind of like leads to concerns. And the other one that I was actually debating, they have 2 back-to-backs this week, but like the front ends of the back-to-backs are the tough games. The back ends are the easy games. So it's like, do we think they could get picked off by like Orlando on Wednesday after that Brooklyn game? Do we think they could get picked off on Sunday? Like, they play Philly on Saturday night. They got to go to Washington on Sunday morning. They got to play there at 6:30. I don't know. Like, this is a tough stretch coming up. Just like not necessarily the opponents. Right? I mean, you throw Philly in there, of course. Right? It's tough. Golden State the next week, but really, is it like it's just kind of the schedule how it goes about. I mean, they go from Wednesday to Saturday, get 2 days off. Thursday, Friday, and I don't know. It's interesting how the NBA schedule was divided up these last 22 games of the season, right? Not sure what I think about it, but again, we have an ABC game on Saturday again. Tomorrow night in Brooklyn, that's going to be a good one. 6:30 tip. But we're just waiting on Giannis' status. Hoping to get more insight on what's going on there. Jay Crowder, right? I mean, talking more about like how the product on the court's looking right now. what's really coming up huge for this Milwaukee team is, right. I mean, that spark Jay Crowder's provided. He was a big spark in that win over Phoenix, especially putting up those threes and in the fourth when it mattered most. Right, it was a sellout there in Milwaukee. Um, right, Holiday coming up big. I thought overall, right. I mean, this looked like this was just a good Bucks win. Right, no Giannis. Granted, they had no Durant, but still, what we saw from this team, some things weren't going your way. Lopez 2 for 8 from three, Allen 2 for 7, Carter 1 for 5, Connaughton 0 for 4. You shoot 29% from three, you get the job done. I mean, you gotta be very pleased with that result. Um, and what Milwaukee was able to do again. Um, and Grant, right? I mentioned Jay Crowder getting 25 minutes right from the start. You love to see that. Plus minus of 6, only 7 points. The stat sheet doesn't show it, but it's the little things that Jay Crowder does, and that's what this Milwaukee Bucks team has thrived upon, right? These guys who do the little things. We talked Wesley Matthews, we talked George Hill, years past. Just even going back these last 5 years, right? I mean, just kind of guys like that who've given you kind of that that boost, right? Those great defenders, guys who long, that's what you're looking for. Even Connaughton can relate to some of that and right give you something on the 3-point arc and really really make that spacing work. It's interesting to see how Marjan Beauchamp's season has gone in terms of he's a DNP coach's decision, so he didn't play because the coach, right, Budenholzer, didn't put him in. What I want to highlight though is really it's interesting kind of the usage, right? How he was starting some games, he got really good minutes, looked promising, and then right you bring in these vets, right? I mean, you bring in even a guy like Myers Leonard who got 5 minutes. You bring in right Ingles comes back from injury, he's playing 29 minutes. He also right doesn't do a lot in the stat sheet, but I mean he's out there 29 minutes. He's making plays. He's sometimes bringing the ball up the court. Uh, Just really interesting concept, right? I mean, how Mike Budenholzer has used this team, which again is a very old team, really is. A lot of vets, a lot of experience. So and that's kind of why Beauchamp is not playing, right? But again, Bucks getting the win on this one. You gotta love it. Um, you gotta be pleased with that result, and you gotta be pleased with a 14-game win streak. I mean, what's crazy is again credit Boston, right? Completely on this one is I mean they're 44 and 18. Right now, I mean technically the Bucks are the one spot, but by 0.07 percent for that winning percentage. So why I say credit Boston is Boston, Bucks win 14 in a row. Boston is still, right there. They're right there, which is remarkable. When a team wins a 14-game win streak and they were already a playoff team, you figure, oh, they gotta be number one by a few games now, right? No. Right there with them. Philly 4 back, Cleveland 6 back, and then the Knicks 8.5 back, the Nets 9. So I mean, really, there's the 4-game separation between 1 and 3. There's a 5-game separation between 3 and 6. Not bad, right? Not a lot really at all. The West is a total mess. Denver's up 5.5 for that one spot, but difference between the 1 and the 4 in the West is 10 games, but then the difference between the 4 and the 8 is 2 games. And I can go even farther. The 4 and the 10, they're a difference of 3 games. That's all the rest of the playoff teams, remarkable kind of what we're seeing there. The Kings have solidified themselves, 3 games up in the 3 spot. I think that's been the biggest story in the whole NBA. Not just talking whole NBA, not just Bucks, but like still look on what's going on in the West, right? I mean, the Bucks still play the Western Conference teams, so important to look at that. But it's been really an interesting story. Also, got to highlight San Antonio's lost 16 in a row. That's been kind of a big thing that we've talked about. And again, also New York, the Knicks 6 in a row. Right, Knicks have been doing well with what they've done in free agency with bringing guys like Brunson, bringing Josh Hart at the deadline. A lot of moving parts there have really worked out with New York. Um, so overall, that's kind of been the NBA story. I did want to talk about. I didn't really mention at the start, but I want to talk about the Milwaukee Brewers. They are back, spring training. We get to see a lot of guys here until World Baseball Classic, and that kind of throws a little bit off. Some guys won't be there, but with spring training, what we get is we had a game on Bally that was already on Saturday. I had it on. I don't, I know it's spring. I don't care. I had it on. We're almost there. Tomorrow's game, I believe, is on Bally Sports. Also, yes, it is. But I believe there's a game on LB Network. That is, it's out of market only. Okay, cool. Okay, Tuesday and Wednesday. Actually, there's a lot of games on MLB. The next 3 days, so Tuesday through Thursday, those games will be on Bally Sports Wisconsin. They were hyping up MLB Network being where you can watch Wednesday's game against the Angels at 2:10. Turns out that's not the case. So you have to fire up Bally Sports. You got that. But yeah, if anyone's going to spring training for spring break, let me know. It's pretty cool stuff. Never been down there. Would love to go down there someday. See what's going on down there because it's an experience, right? I mean, games are shorter now too. 30 minutes shorter, roughly 30, 40 minutes. There's a game today, 2 hours, 4 minutes. I mean, can't make these numbers up. This is a real deal. If you can get a baseball game at 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours. Look, I mean, you're putting a product down the field that's going to be A, fun to watch, B, action, or fast pace, and C, I'm going to say action filled. I know some people might disagree with that, but really, I mean, if you're able to put the product on the field and you're cutting off 30, 40 minutes of game time on average, that's remarkable. I mean, I'm impressed so far. I'm not going to say I was a skeptic of the pitch clock, but I certainly wasn't, this guy who was saying we need the pitch clock now. So, not opposed to it, but no, I'm content with how it's gone. Brewers Prediction Challenge starts up very soon here. I'm not going to do it in spring training. No way I'm doing split squad predictions. We'll wait until the season starts, but that's all I got. I got some announcements, of course, before I wrap up. Starting with right after Sports Crew, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Right, I got a lot of stuff coming out on there. The drafts, as you know, I've been doing drafts on TikTok, YouTube Shorts. You can check those out. Just all content, right? Basketball, football, baseball on that. And then also got to mention, right, at J2M Football, Zach Jared, been putting out a lot of content on there. I'm on a few of those drafts on the football side. And again, that episode for Journey Million with that's tomorrow night, 4:15. We'll be live. We're gonna actually be with OW Sports. We had him on last year. Have one of the guys a part of OW Sports on there, the Jets fan. So if you remember that, he'll be a great guest. He was last year. Glad to bring him back on. But yeah, just remember, follow at J2M Football on TikTok, right on the football side for Zach, Jared, and myself on there. And then also at Drew Sports Crew. And I'll be on. I'm on there and check out the content. So also Instagram. Instagram's got you covered. And that's at Drew Sports Crew. And where you're watching YouTube, or if you're listening, right, subscribe to our YouTube, Drew Sports Crew, as well. You get notifications. You can set for when we go live, or even Twitch. I mean, I don't advertise the Twitch, but Drew Sports Crew on there. You can also get notifications when I go live. So those are the main ones. Talked about fantasy baseball. Just remember on that. And that's all I got here for myself, Drew Skyberg, here on this Monday now. See you guys tomorrow. Also, then we'll have basketball on Friday. So thank you all for listening to yet another episode of Drew Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.